$146,000 that can be used on whatever you want. But if that's not something that, you know, is helpful, so be it. It would be helpful for me.
Is that when we get back for our next quarter and these projects, I think we've kind of already mentioned that, updates on where we stand on some of these projects, you get a better chance to see it. Another thing that we can do to provide you an extra level of clarity is to maybe add some footnotes to this. But where you see those large amounts that are budgeted, if no money has been expended on it, nothing has happened with that project. It would be the equivalent of us going to the fire budget and seeing a big number on the line and nothing has been expended from it. Know that we wouldn't have that money just sitting there. It's already been obligated somewhere. But I think to go to Don's point, to provide an extra level of clarity, we can add some footnotes. And I think for us as a board, CRA board, when we come back in June, Jonathan's going to do a presentation for everybody on what are all of those projects and where we stand in those projects as we move forward in the budget process. So those are things I think that'll help all of us. But just remember, as you're looking at this report for tonight, because it doesn't have footnotes on it, when you see those large amounts and there's nothing been expended, the project has not started, no work has been done on it, but that money that's on the budget side has been committed. Because that's what we had, and I'm saying we, even though I wasn't here, they had projected for that project to be able to cost. What Logan is speaking to, though, those costs may go up, those costs may go down. So before we start doing a whole bunch of transfers in and transfers out, transfers in, transfers out, we want to let at least a certain percentage of the project go forward before we start making transfers.
I have
Go ahead, Sam.
I have two questions, but first two. So on page 2, the transfers that are listed there are the ones that are coming out of the downtown section. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So we have a total in the downtown 457,894. Okay. On the last page, we talk about contingency reserve. And the downtown fund is at 0. Is that correct? In other words, every last dime is spoken for in the downtown section.
Per statute, you're supposed to do that, and if you don't have a project completed, and you don't expect to complete it in this, it's not contractually committed, as Mr. Holmes stated, you have to reallocate it to another project or program and expense it within 3 years.
Okay, but the other two sections do have a slight reserve. Contingency. That's why I'm asking. And then I would like to go to Mr. The South and the North do have contingency. But Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
if I can ask this question, each of the sections has administration fees that we pay for our staff person. Is our staff person then the same as we are talking about with the SBA office? Is our staff person only working within those 3 TIP funds, or we have a staff person that's also doing work outside the TIP area? Because the salary would have to be spent, you know what I mean? We're back in that same boat. And so I don't know that answer. Or is she paid more than the $90,000 that I see here? I mean, I don't understand. I don't know. I'm asking.
Better question, that's the city manager. I don't
City manager.
day-to-day operation.
And he hadn't been here long enough to know.
So, allow me to get with you afterwards. Let me look over and I'll review and I'll let you know the answer to that question.
Okay.
Any other questions for anybody else? Thank you, guys. Thank you, Logan.
And then, if we could have this report. I'm a visual person,
Yes, we'll email it to you.
and I would like,
Yeah.
yes, thank
We'll
you.
email it to you.
Thank you. Reports, SBDC,
I'm just-
anything else?
Just the county stuff.
North Tip? Seeing no one. South Tip? Other reports? Any other reports? Mr. Griffith, do you have anything else? Commissioner Boer?
I see a rainbow at the end of the tunnel. That's all I have.
You know I have several things on my list here.
Go
I
ahead.
have some things that directly affect the downtown CRA district, and so I'd like to ask that these can be on future agendas, but I'm having to move Azalea Parade off of Main Street. It didn't work on St. John's, but insurance says there are no sidewalks on Main Street. Therefore, we're putting people in the street, and there's a parade. So the northwest side of Main Street has no sidewalks. You know, from like the block past Emmanuel to 11th. And so I'm playing this game that we might not have a parade. We would like to have a parade, but I need sidewalks. That's in the C.R.A. district. And then I sat at the corner, 2 blocks from my business. A lady came out while I was at that 4-way stop, and she threw her garbage in the yard. And it just exploded. It was an apartment house. And our codes only work now if someone puts a name on the form. And people are not doing that because they're afraid of retribution. I understand that, experience that. I think for codes, our codes hasn't met in months, but I think we need to change the codes so people feel comfortable reporting things. Now, I'm going to write that up because there's eggshells all over, and it's on Krill Avenue. What a sight for people to see. So I'd like to talk about codes, and then inspections downtown. We opened Dollar General. Love Dollar General. Thank you. I love it. The problem is our inspector allowed them to open. Landscaping wasn't finished. They gave them 30 days. I drove the back exit, and the landscapers left a pallet in the road, which our inspector, which now is at the county, allowed that, and so I hit it. I thought I hit a person on the ground. It dented my fender, because you know how cheap they are now, and it sent my heart into a heart attack. So I am pro-business, open it early, but the inspector has to say, you got to have this done, because that's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
What kind of pallet?
A wooden pallet, it was that had grass on it. Yeah, they just left it in the driveway. Black parking lot, dark at night, not enough lights. So I want to say that the inspections, did our inspections change when we gave it to the county, or are we going by the same rules? I'd like to talk about that in the future because I know we can't take action. But it did give me a heart attack.
Were you driving fast in your visibility?
No, I was not. If anybody in this world knows, Sam Deputy does not drive fast. I'm considered an old man. I appreciate the rain because it cleaned the gutters, but is the street cleaner down again? Because we're not cleaning downtown streets. And
The answer is yes.
down, okay. And then
It actually got totaled.
okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that the tree across the street from me that's been hit 4 times because it leaned in the road was taken out. But now when are we going to replace the trees on St. John's Avenue? And when are we going to trim them with the dead limbs? Because I'd like to take the city manager tree by tree, but there's 144 of them.
How much more do you need?
I got one more. When does the ship store open? Because right now everybody is using. Well, actually, I'll tell you where everybody's going. It's behind the Presbyterian Church, because that's cleaner than the Porta-John. We have one Porta-John on the entire park that gets service, I don't know how often.
Riverside's open.
But the River Center was open when I gave the tour to the American Cruise Line. I took a tour of the building, because it was open, and then I let 55 people go to the bathroom, because it was open. But it's not supposed to be open, and when are we going to open the ship store? It's sitting there. Those are questions that I'm being asked from downtown, and I would like to also know. So I'd like to put those on the agenda.
On this agenda, or do you want to?
Oh, the next
on the
agenda.
City Commission agenda.
Or answer the question. Lots of things. But all of those are within the downtown district that I represent. Fair questions, right? So, I'll meet with the city manager.
Well, whatever's your pleasure. You want on the agenda, or you want to meet with the city manager?
On the agenda. I want on the agenda. Let's put it on the agenda.
Just don't keep it forever. You got real job.
All right. Anything else?
I'm done.
You sure?
Don't give me another minute.
Commissioner McCaskill Valentine.
I'll be quick. Thanks for these information on these
Yes.
2 upcoming workshops. One on QuickBooks on Monday, April 23rd, and cybersecurity on May 23rd. Just want to know if Betsy can get these on the website so we can get these advertised. And again, thanks. If we can get more information like this is another way that we can reach out and help.
Mr. Poston.
Only thing, great conversation tonight. Dialogue is always healthy when you get people in the same room. The contingency question that you had asked earlier, Sam, you guys actually approved those contingency numbers at your last meeting. So you know that that's 17,250 and that 9,593. I'll email it to you, but you guys actually approved that, so that's why that contingency money is there. Other than that, thank you. It's a great conversation.
Mr. Brown.
That's nothing.
Mr. Suggs.
No, sir, Mr. Mayor, just going to be back.
Can't wait for your vote. No more conflicts. Mr. Campbell.
Sir, while you
Ms.
hold on a
Donovan.
minute, I need to get, this is the